Hi, in today's video we are going to talk about how to choose seeds specifically for your garden, for your style of gardening, for your climatic conditions. So let's see. First of all, there is only limited amount of information that you can get from internet or seeds description or elsewhere. The reason for this is because any plants would grow differently depending on many different factors, and then they can, for example, provide harvest later or earlier. They can have different taste. They can behave absolutely differently based on many conditions. For example, what is the weather, what is your style of growing, how often you are watering, how much sun it is there is a shade. So there are lots of factors that should be taken into account when selecting seeds. Therefore, my suggestion is you can get an inspiration from reading, watching, seeing what others are growing. However, until you actually start to experiment with different seeds and growing them in your specific conditions, you would never know what are the best plants specifically for you. So instead of giving you a list of varieties, for example, that would grow only for you or in this area or so on, I will give you during this video explanation on how to choose the varieties of seeds that would be most suitable for your garden and how to do it in the most effective way. So let's start. First of all, I suggest that you do not grow only one type of seeds of specific plants, but you grow at least 2 or 3, and of each of those you grow at least 2 or 3 plants. So in total, minimum recommended amount of something growing would be 10 plants for you. For example, in terms of pumpkins, so for example, in terms of pumpkins, I'm planning to grow these 3 different varieties of pumpkins this year, which are absolutely of no relevance to you. And then I'm going to grow 3 seeds from each of those 3 varieties. So I will have 9 pumpkin plants. It can be a little bit too much for some, but that's a general rule of thumb. So why 3 varieties? Because then you can compare them and you can see which one is better, and then for the next year you can select that I am going to leave this one and I'm not going to leave that one because it was not growing that well and I don't like it that much, so I'm going to plant and try another variety next year. And in terms of having 2-3 plants of each varieties, the reason is that if you only grow one, something can happen. Maybe the seedlings wouldn't grow, maybe a dog or a cat will come and break it. So 2 is a much better number of plants to grow, and 3 is of course kind of ideal. You can grow of course more than that, but I wouldn't recommend growing less than 3. If you're really short on space, maybe 2 would be okay, but things can happen to one plant. So 3 varieties, 3 plants as a minimum. You can try, for example, to grow more than 3 varieties or more than 3 plants. The more varieties you grow, the sooner you will be able to select which seeds are better suitable for your climate. In order to start first growing your varieties of seeds, what you can do is talk to neighbors, for example, and see what they are growing, and if you think that that's something potentially that you would like. The likelihood high is that in your specific conditions it would be better than if something that you would be just selecting on the internet without knowing how it is suitable and whether it even can grow in your specific conditions. So once you have grown those plants, you can make an analysis. So generally recommendation is that to compare everything and then maybe take 50% of the varieties that you grew and say that this is the best one, and then another 50% you discard and next year you buy new plants, new seeds, and then you grow those. And over the years, usually 2-3 years, you would be able to grow varieties that grow in your condition just right. Now, it's just a rule of thumb, 50-50, of course, depending on your preferences or what you like. Sometimes you might like all three, and maybe you say, okay, I don't want to try anymore, maybe I just want to grow more, maybe I want to add still 2 and grow 5 varieties, or maybe I do not want to grow anything from these 3 varieties, I didn't like it at all. Or maybe you just don't like to grow those vegetables anymore. That's also possible. So when you grow them, it's also I would also recommend for you to write during the growing period your observations. So for example, these tomatoes were starting bringing harvest faster than those. This I liked more. These were better in the first couple of months, and these were better at the end of the summer. So whatever observations you think are relevant for you and that would help you to select the varieties to grow, just keep them. Some were recorded. You can also take photos to refresh your memory later, but also to look at them, because some people do prefer to look at the plants when they are selecting, and then compare what you had with what you were planning to grow, and maybe even with the photos on the packet of seeds. Now, in terms of selecting seeds, so you can select your own, or you can buy. I always buy. I buy from reputable suppliers, because I do not want to bring by chance any virus or any disease to my garden, first of all. Second of all, if it's not a proper company that actually produces seeds, then it for many plants is quite difficult to ensure that the seeds are coming true to type, and not, for example, being pollinated by some other cucumbers that grows at your neighbors or somewhere else. It's not 100% rule. For example, for tomatoes, it's not such a big problem. So many people are collecting tomato seeds and some other seeds as well. And also, if you don't actually care about what is the quality of your produce, then you can just probably collect most of the seeds. Just don't expect that you will be able to get harvest of a higher standard. And just another point to mention about F1 seeds, which are hybrids, where they took mother plant, father plant, pollinated them together and produced a child that you grow. You can collect seeds from those plants as well, but they are not going to, well, some of them will not be coming through to their variety. And I think with this simple advice, with time, you would be able to select the plants that would grow perfectly well in your conditions, whether it's cucumbers, tomatoes, paprika, anything that you want to grow.